According to Kanye West, time is extremely valuable. Everyone generally agrees with this statement. In fact, people love having control over their time, whether it is their meeting schedule or it is wasting time scrolling through Instagram mindlessly on our bed. And people get very grumpy or angry when they have to wait for something that they did not intend to, such as the airplanes. Airplane delays happen very commonly, and we saw it as a big problem since it is a lose lose situation, as both the airline companies and the passengers who fly with those companies lose time and money. So, we decided to analyze data of all domestic flights from all airlines in 2015 to see how the airlines are affected by their departure delays. Also, we looked at the data to examine how much time people lose due to arrival delay. And finally, we compare the average arrival delay and the average cost of the flight tickets of the six most popular airlines to show which of them is the best to choose.
So we found a huge data set containing details regarding all US domestic flights in the year 2015. Each row contained information regarding origin, destination, flight duration, departure delay, and arrival delay. We chose to filter the dataset to strictly examine flights that were delayed on departure or canceled altogether. We began our analysis by focusing on the internalities of the airline itself. We found that the average cost per minute of a delayed flight was $74.24, and that the average cost of a delayed flight was $5,770. We used these totals to calculate an aggregate cost of delays and cancellation to each airline carrier, also factoring in these costs as a percentage of their total gross revenue. Next, we analyze the externalities of these delays, namely the cost of the delays to the consumer. To do this, we multiplied the average airline delay with the cost per minute to the consumer. In our final graph, we constructed a scatter plot of average ticket price against arrival delay. We found out in our first graph that the airline with the highest departure delay was Frontier Airlines, and the lowest was Hawaiian Airlines. Next, we discovered that the airline that incurred the most costs from the cancellation and delays was Southwest Airlines, which lost $2.45 billion that year. We chose to look at the six most popular airlines in the US and examine their gross revenues for the year. These airlines were American Airlines, Delta, Southwest Airlines, Spirit Airlines, United Airlines, and JetBlue Airways. After factoring in these costs as a percentage of gross revenue, however, we found out that Spirit lost the most percentage of their gross revenue, losing 16.4% to cancellations and delays, with Southwest losing the second most with 12.3%.
Finally, in terms of the consumer, we found that Frontier had the highest average cost to the customer as a result of airline delay, costing the customer $33 extra on top of the ticket price. This led us to attempt to graph a scatter plot of average ticket price against arrival delay to see whether paying more correlates to lower arrival delays or vice versa. We found out that, in general, if you're paying more for the ticket, the arrival delay is lower. But if you are paying less, the arrival delay is much longer. Two notable airlines stuck out, though: United Airlines and Southwest Airlines. For United, you're paying $285 for the average ticket, but for the second highest delay time. And for Southwest, you are paying relatively little for much shorter delays. Thus, we concluded that Southwest was the best value airline to fly on amongst the six most popular airlines in 2015. We began our analysis with the question: what is the impact of delays and cancellations both to the airline carrier and to the passenger? We found out that, one, airline carriers incur heavy costs as a result of delays and cancellations, and two, these costs can take up a significant portion of the company's gross revenue. In terms of the consumer, we discovered that generally, if you're paying more for a ticket, you're also paying for a shorter arrival delay. And if you're paying less, you're also opening yourself to having longer delays. This doesn't cover the complete story. The airline industry is rapidly changing, and this data set was from 2015. We also didn't account for price discrimination and other external factors, including economic, political, and geographical conditions. Much has probably changed since then, and it would be really interesting to see current or recent data, maybe 2019 or 2020, to see whether our findings have changed in significant ways. Finally, the study can go in a variety of directions. As mentioned before, we would like to look at recent data from 2019 or 2020 in order to compare our data with the more recent ones and recalculate the total cost to the carrier and passenger with more precise assumptions. We'd also be interested in looking at the debate over the impending airline buyout and the industry's controversial use of stock repurchases to boost executive bonuses. Do these practices correlate with the discovered patterns we notice for the companies and for their consumers?